You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graham Forsyth. Happy to be back on another Friday night for another edition of the Prospect Show. I want to thank everyone who's taken the time out of their Friday night for choosing ASTV Productions and watching the Prospect Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hinted at it last week that we were probably going to have the biggest guest that the show has ever seen on this week, and that's exactly what's going to be happening. Joining me tonight, it was an honor to get to sit down with 15-year-old sensation from North Vancouver, British Columbia, number 98 of the Regina Pats in the WHL, Connor Bedard. Connor was granted exceptional player status by Hockey Canada last year, being the 7th player in Hockey Canada's history to receive that status and the first player in WHL history to receive that honor. I had a chance to ask Connor about what it was like getting exceptional player status. I had a chance to ask him about what it was like getting drafted first overall in the 2020 WHL draft to the Regina Pats. We dive into what a season was like with the Regina Pats this year and the 15 games he played. We also dive into the time he spent in Sweden in September, where he played for HV71's U18 and U20 team, and we also dive into the time he got to spend with Team Canada at the U18 World Championships this year, where that team went to Frisco, Texas, and won gold against Russia. And we also dive into the 2 seasons he had before this 2020-2021 season, where he played in the CSSHL for Western Vancouver Academy's Bantam Prep and Midget Prep team. That's all coming up tonight on this edition of the Prospect Show with number 98 of the Regina Pats, 15-year-old sensation from North Vancouver, British Columbia, Connor Bedard, here on the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Wow! Joining the show now is the prodigy, the man himself, Connor Bedard. Exceptional status, was granted that first overall pick in the WHL draft in 2020, lit it up in the WHL this year, won gold with Canada at the U18 Worlds, and now he's here on the Prospect Show. Connor, it's great to have you on the show, man. How have things been? I know that in conversations with talking with your dad and to setting up this interview, you said you were in Toronto for like a little bit last week. How was that like?
Yeah, it was good. Just kind of up there for a week doing some training stuff. So it's good to kind of explore and see new things. So it was fun.
Yeah, why exactly were you out in Toronto?
It was kind of like an agency thing. They kind of brought me and Nate Danielson out, he's on Brandon. So we were kind of there and just out there for a week of training.
Right on. You felt pretty good about the week of training and the stuff you guys did out there?
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Right on. Well, you're back now in Vancouver. Just what's it been like being back? I know before we started, you said it's hot there. I know it's hot here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. How's it like for you just being able to relax at home for a bit and just getting to spend time in this nice weather?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously away for a few months for the first time kind of in my life, so that was a little different. And then it's always comfortable coming back home, and you kind of know everyone and stuff. So it's been good being back home, and then kind of just on the same schedule as most of the summers.
Yeah, for sure. And as a 15-year-old, like you've had a crazy 2020-2021 season. You went to Sweden, before the WHL season started. You played in Regina this season. Well, for the Regina Pats, you ended up going to Texas this year in the U18 Worlds. Just what was that like being able to go to all these different places and being able to experience that at such a young age?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like you said, going all the way over to Sweden was, something that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to have. So that was pretty special. And then obviously getting that, we didn't really know coming in what was going to happen with our year, and then obviously being able to play was awesome. And then getting to go with Team Canada down to Texas was a dream come true. So everything was a lot of fun this year.
When exactly did you make that move out to Sweden this year?
I think like early September I went out, and then I was kind of just there for 2 months, I think.
Right on. How was that experience like of just getting to play hockey in Sweden, experiencing the culture there?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, everywhere you go, it's kind of there's a lot of different things you can pick up, and obviously you meet new people, and like I said, you learn new things. So it was a lot of fun. They were in our HV71. The program I was with is very professional, and the facilities and everything was unreal. So it was definitely a lot of fun.
And just that choice to go to Sweden, what exactly did it come down to just for you to decide to go out there?
Yeah, I think my agent kind of brought it up, and that was something that I was pretty interested in. Obviously, it would be a pretty cool experience, and if we were gonna get pushed back again, then obviously I had the opportunity to play a few games, and then I was gonna stay longer and play some more, but their season ended up getting canceled. But I think it was just the opportunity to play games. I think that's what everyone was missing, so that was probably the biggest reason.
How much do you think that had an impact on just your ability to come into the WHL, going up against men as a 15-year-old and being able to do the things that you were able to do?
Yeah, I think it helped. I played some games, with the U20 group, and obviously got to practice with them every day. So just having that exposure, and being able to play against those guys, it helps a lot, and just kind of figuring out being a smaller guy, and not really being able to just beat everyone with speed, and just skills. You got to think around it. So I think that really helped me.
Would you say that was probably the biggest difference in the game in Sweden compared to a place like Canada? The game is a lot more skill based, you'd say.
I think it's hard to say, but I mean the big ice obviously has an effect on that. A little more
Right.
room out there, so I'd say it's a bit more of a possession game, and maybe less hitting just because of the bigger surface, and so it is a little different, but it's not a huge drastic change.
What did you find from your time in Sweden that you really were able to take and really use it to maybe add some different skills, different tools to your game?
Yeah, I think the way they play, like I said, it's not all the same. So you kind of learn new
Yeah.
things, like a lot of cycles, sorry, and that stuff, and just kind of the skills they work on that I was able to bring home, and be able to practice myself. So I think all those things kind of factor in, and you kind of just learn new things everywhere you go.
Just getting that opportunity back in September to go out, get some time to, kind of mature a bit at this early age. At this point, after all you've been through this year of not only playing in Sweden, but playing in the WHL, playing in the U18s as well. How would you say that you've matured over this past 2021 season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said earlier, just moving away is different.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, if you want to pursue your dreams, you got to do it eventually. So I think that was a pretty good experience for me. Just being more independent, and obviously it was a different season, and we were, kind of in those bubbles, and that sort of thing. But you're still kind of just more independent, and more responsible for yourself. So I think that's kind of a good thing to learn.
Just you got some downtime right now, of course, but what are the upcoming months going to be? I mean, the upcoming months going to be looking like for you in terms of just the routine of just playing hockey, doing some training, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too much different than usual. Kind of just getting in the gym, and getting on the ice, and obviously trying to improve your game in all areas, and then obviously just you're back home, and seeing your buddies, and spending time with your family and that sort of stuff.
And of course, you had a phenomenal year with the Regina Pats, and the 15 games that you played, you put up 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points. Just how excited are you to get back at it and get to play a full season coming up this year if we do see a full season in the WHL coming up?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, it was so much fun kind of getting to meet everyone and be able to play at that high level and, really be challenged and have to, like I said earlier, think the game like that and, try to figure things out. And obviously getting up, the announcement of capacity and, being able to have fans in the building is going to be, really surreal and something I'm really, really looking forward to. Obviously hearing about the fans there and, how much they love it. And, I think it's going to be a really fun year.
When does training camp start exactly for you guys?
Right now, I think I'm supposed to be heading up like September 1st, kind of around there.
Mm, nice, nice. That's going to be great. So, just in terms of the off-season training, obviously you did a lot of good in your first season in the WHL, but I'm sure there's some stuff that you want to improve on. What's going to be the biggest focus for you heading into the gym this season in terms of the stuff you're going to want to work on?
Yeah, I think obviously you can improve in all areas, but in the gym, it's a lot about power and quickness and speed and that sort of stuff, and then obviously you work on your shot and your hands and that sort of stuff on your own. Sorry, but I think in the gym, a lot about being more powerful and harder to knock off the puck, obviously, but I think just a lot about speed and quickness.
For you, even though that you've been getting so much attention just from everyone around the hockey world, I mean, I felt like I was seeing Connor Bedard highlights on the daily, if not on the weekly. But just in terms of Connor Bedard off the ice, what type of personality do you have?
Yeah, I don't know. I think pretty normal
Yeah,
guy, pretty outgoing. I like, spending time with friends and spending time with
yeah.
family and that sort of stuff. But I mean, I don't know. That's hard to describe. You kind of have to ask someone I'm with a lot. But I'd say I'm, pretty outgoing and just enjoy being with other people.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Is there, in terms of just the stuff that you do to keep yourself entertained outside of hockey, is there a certain sport that you like to watch on TV? Maybe you like to play video games. What's the stuff that you like to do the most on your downtime?
Yeah, obviously watch a lot of hockey and I'm pretty into basketball to watch and then like playing golf and I play inline hockey a lot, which is something I really like. And then like I've said, just kind of hanging out and just being with your buddies is something I kind of enjoy.
That's interesting. Inline hockey, yeah, inline hockey for sure. It's a great sport. Of course, it's exactly like hockey, but on rollerblades. When exactly did you get into the sport of inline hockey?
I think I was like 6 years old, so I've been kind of playing it
Yeah.
for a pretty good amount of time.
What do you find that inline hockey helps you out with when it comes to just the off ice training, stuff like that?
I think a lot of like puck control and that sort of stuff. It's obviously, you're going out there to have fun, but there's definitely things you can take away from it. Just being able. It's a lot about your puck control and kind of your hands and that sort of stuff, and just vision and that sort of stuff. So I think that really helps. Even just it's kind of like just going out with your buddies and playing a little 2-on-2 or something. It kind of just get your hands in it and kind of think the game.
In terms of just for you out there as a competitor, how would you describe your competitive nature personally?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think when I was younger, I was a bit of a baby whenever I'd lose, so kind of toned that down a little bit. But I'd say I'm very competitive. I mean, you got to be, and if you're playing at a high level, just you hate losing, and it's just no matter how well you played, no matter how well I played, sorry, I kind of feel like I could have done more if I wasn't able to win. So that's kind of everything, just being able to win, and so I'd say I'm very competitive.
Right on, right on. Yeah, definitely. got to have that competitive nature if you want to compete at that highest level. And you've been able to do that in all boxes. You checked all the boxes this year as a 15-year-old just going up against men, which is absolutely mind-boggling. But yeah, let's talk about the NHL playoffs. Just for you, I'm assuming that there's one team that you've been pulling for, or you kind of been going for multiple teams. What's the team that Connor Bedard is pulling for to win the cup between Tampa and Montreal?
That's tough. I'm a big Canucks guy, but obviously they didn't make the
Yeah.
playoffs. So kind of going into it, I had a few teams I wanted, and then obviously when one gets knocked out, you kind of cheer for someone else. But I'm kind of torn on the finals right now. I mean, it'd be pretty cool for the cup to come back to Canada. Obviously, it's been so long, but I think Tampa's one of the funnest teams to watch. Obviously, their skill with their power play and the way they play is unreal. So I think either way, I'm not too mad, but it'd be pretty cool to see the cup come to Canada.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with either one of those. And
Yeah.
yeah, speaking about Tampa's power play, just absolutely insane. And I picked Kucherov and Hedman in my playoff pool, so I gotta thank those guys for sure for
Yeah.
maybe me going back to back for sure. But yeah, what were so you're a Canucks fan, obviously. You've always been a Canucks fan growing up. That's been your team you've always rooted for.
Yeah, yeah, it's always been.
Right on. So would you say that your favorite player comes from the Canucks, or is there a different team that you kind of look at one of those players and say, he's my favorite?
Yeah, I kind of got a couple. I've always been a big Crosby fan growing up, and then
Yeah.
when Matthews came into the league, and also Barzal because I'm able to kind of skate with him and I know him a little. So I'd say those three guys are probably my favorite players in the league.
What's that been like being able to skate with an NHL player like Matt Barzal, just the experience of that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, just getting to watch them and even play against them in scrimmages and that sort of stuff. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And obviously, it kind of makes you realize how much further you need to go to get to that next level. Obviously, he's a top player. He had an unreal playoff, and he's been one of the best players in the league since he came in. I think so. Just being able to watch him and see his habits and that sort of stuff is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of my favorite players for sure. Him, Nikolai Ehlers, and I don't know the third one off the top of my head who I'd say was in my top three. But I remember watching a YouTube video. You had a chance. I don't know if it was last summer or 2 summers ago, but to get to skate in the summer with some NHL players. Could you take us back to that experience?
Yeah, I did a lot. I think that was 2 summers ago, but I did like all summer last year and a little bit the summer before. But it's like I said about kind of the habits and how good these guys are. It's just good for me to be able to skate at that level and see how good these guys are and just what they do and kind of pick up little things from them. So I think that's been really big for my development, and it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, for sure. Anytime you get to have a chance to skate with NHL players, especially at the age you're at, it's pretty surreal for sure, no doubt about it. But yeah, we're gonna take our first commercial break in this edition of the Prospect Show. I've been joined by Connor Bedard, number 98 of the Regina Pats from the WHL. We'll be right back after this commercial break to continue talking more hockey with Connor here on the Prospect Show. Stick with us. Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Of course, I've been joined by Connor Bedard, rookie for the Regina Pats in the WHL. He wears number 98. He's had an unreal 2020-2021 season, to say the least, going to play in the WHL as a 15-year-old, the first ever player with exceptional status in the WHL at that. also just being able to go to the U18s with Team Canada and win gold in Texas, as well as being able to play in Sweden. We talked about his time in Sweden early on in the show, and yeah, just thought about this question, Connor. It's just I know that hockey is obviously your main sport, but is there any other sports that you played growing up?
Yeah, I played soccer till I was about 11 or 12, and then I think that's kind of the age you kind of just got to focus on one. But that's something I played a lot actually growing up.
Right on. Did you play just rec soccer? Did you play at a high level in that? Just how far did you go in soccer when you were playing in soccer?
It wasn't like the word. It was kind of like a middle. It wasn't like unreal,
Yeah,
but it wasn't terrible. I'd say so. I'd say I
yeah,
was decent. Definitely not great.
yeah. But obviously, nice to be able to play another sport to kind of just mix it up as you were growing up. Just in terms of the skills that you've been able to take away from that sport and translate into hockey, what would you say those skills would be?
I think it's a lot of conditioning stuff. You're kind of out there always
Yeah.
running, and you can rarely really get a break. So I think that was obviously something big for conditioning, and then obviously just I don't know what else, maybe like IQ or something. But I think the biggest thing was just kind of conditioning.
Is there a sport that you've seen on TV or seen clips on the internet and been like, man, I'd like to try that one out someday?
Uh Maybe like I like baseball. It's pretty cool. I think I never really played that. Just never really played in a league or anything. But I think that's one that I find pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Baseball, I know my girlfriend's a huge fan. It's America's pastime, right? So yeah, that'd be a sick sport to try for sure. But let's get into just the exceptional status thing. I mean, the seventh player to receive that honor in Hockey Canada's history of having that first player in WHL history. Just what was that like when the news broke that you got accepted to get exceptional status?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I mean, when I applied, I didn't know, and then at the end of the season, I thought I had a bit of a shot, but I was kind of 50-50 on it whether I'd get it or not. Um, and then my agent called me and kind of broke the news while I was just kind of just at my house. I mean, no one was really doing anything at that point because of the whole quarantine thing, but yeah, it was really surreal and something I don't think I'll forget for a while.
Yeah, and man, you join the likes of guys like McDavid and Tavares to be in the conversation, in the name, and just like a group of people like McDavid and Tavares. Just was that probably the most surreal feeling, just knowing that you got accepted to get granted exceptional status, and you're now in the conversation with guys like McDavid and Tavares when it came to that.
Yeah, I think that was pretty crazy. I mean, seeing what those guys have been able to accomplish and how good they are, and it's pretty crazy whenever I hear my name kind of in the same sentence as them. So that's definitely really cool, and I think obviously that's something that I hope to continue, but that kind of we'll see about that.
And you had a chance to play with another player that got exceptional status in the World U18s or the U18 Worlds, the IIHF U18 World Championships in hockey. Shane Wright, just what was that like? Just getting to meet another player that's kind of gone through the same thing as you have with this whole process of the exceptional status.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's obviously, an unbelievable player, and he just lit that tournament up. And off the ice, he's just as good or better of a person. I mean, his leadership and kind of just the way he carries himself is unbelievable. And obviously, us going kind of through the same thing with exceptional status and the draft and everything. It was pretty cool just kind of get to talk to him about it. He's kind of reached out to me before, and but it was definitely cool. And that guy's going to be really good for a really long time.
Yeah, guys unreal like yourself. And for you to be able to get to meet Shane Wright just at the U18 Worlds on Team Canada, did he give you any words of advice on just how to handle the pressure and the whole uh I guess just having that status with you?
I wouldn't say we really talked about it there, but like I said, he kind of reached out to me
Right.
before after the exceptional, and kind of going into my season with just confidence things and just to play your game and that sort of stuff. But I think just being able to see the way he is off the ice and how it translates on the ice is something that I really took a lot out of. Just how focused he is, and just the way he carries himself.
There's so much expectation on you, Connor, with just people already comparing you to guys like McDavid, guys like the guys that are those generational talents, right? Just at this early age, just with all the spotlight, all the pressure on you, how you felt like your mental game has been able to handle it, and for you to just be able to go out and perform at as high as a level as you have been able to.
I mean, I don't think there's any, bigger critic on myself than I am. So, after even like a bad practice or something, I'll be pretty mad about it. So I think, if I'm not happy with my game, or that's kind of what I'm thinking about more than, if someone on the internet says, I'm, who I'm going to be or who I'm not going to be, sort of thing. So I wouldn't really say I'm thinking about it too much or reading too much into it. I'm kind of just focused on my game.
Yeah, that's exactly how you have to handle it, right? Just focus on your game, and then the rewards and benefits will come. Just how have your parents been able to just speak about your parents being able to be there for support for you? I mean, I'm sure that has started way before the exceptional status thing and just before this whole year, but just speak about how your parents have been able to be a positive influence on you throughout your life so far.
Yeah, I mean they're by far I'd say the two hardest working people I know. So kind of just being able to see what they do and how much they're sacrificing for me to be able to be put in the positions I am and be able to go to the places I get to go and that sort of thing is something that I don't take for granted and kind of everything I've been able to do is more their accomplishment than mine. So I think they've kind of been everything and just support they have and just everything they do is ridiculous. So it's, obviously, so much credit to them.
You get drafted first overall in the 2020 WHL draft by the Regina Pats. Just take me back to that whole process of just going through the draft and just waiting to see, or I guess maybe you were expecting, but just waiting to see if your name would get called number one.
Yeah, obviously it's a pretty cool day. You wait for so long, and I kind of remember a couple of years ago, just I think I said like, man, I wish my draft would come, and then it feels like just kind of in the blink of an eye it was there. So it's definitely a really special day, and being able to hear my name was really surreal. And then obviously you see so many guys you've played with and really well get to go. So the whole day was just really really cool.
Yeah, and just an unbelievable moment for you, of course, getting drafted to that first overall spot by the Regina Pats. Just what was it like? Just getting the type of congratulations that you got from just your family, friends, and just others.
Yeah, I mean, I got an unreal amount of messages and all that, and it was pretty cool. I had all my cousins and stuff kind of buying my jersey and everything. So it was all really cool and something don't really forget. And that's kind of a day that you wait for so long, and then it finally comes, and it's kind of everything you ever hope for. So it was definitely a really really fun day.
How surreal is that feeling of just knowing that anyone can just go out and buy a Connor Bedard jersey, a WHL Connor Bedard jersey? Just how cool is that to see your name in some stores and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's definitely really weird. I mean, I actually saw something. I think it was in like on the Regina News or something, and there was this guy getting interviewed. He had my jersey on, so I was just watching it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty crazy. But seeing kids in it and that sort of stuff, obviously, I haven't really seen in person much just because of COVID and the way our season was. But it's definitely crazy just seeing my name on those jerseys. So that's definitely something really cool.
Do you feel like, when we are able to have a normal season again, this year coming up, just in particular. How excited are you to being able to potentially get to maybe interact with some fans down the line and just get to interact with them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even just watching kind of old games on YouTube of, their cup run or their Memorial Cup runs or WHL finals and that sort of stuff. You just see the fan base and how into it they are and how much they just love the team. So, the support I've gotten, with mails, that sort of stuff. So just, being able to see how much they really, love the team and how much they want us to win. It's going to be definitely really cool to see them in the building and get to interact with them for sure.
Just that whole opportunity to compete against adults and in your debut, doing it for the first time in the WHL, going up to the defending champs, the Prince Albert Raiders. I covered it on one of my other shows when we were doing the Coffee with Graham newscasts, and just looking at that first game, it was unreal. You scored 2 goals in the second period, 48 seconds apart. To have that type of debut, that type of success, just what was that like going out there for the first time in the Regina Pats jersey and being able to play for them?
Yeah, it was such a long wait. I mean, probably I think over a year since the draft, and you kind of just so anxious to get going and butterflies and everything. So it was really exciting. Even just taking your warm up and doing your rookie lap and that sort of stuff. It was definitely really exciting. And then I think the first shift, I took a hit from Gooley. Obviously, he's a pretty big guy, so I think that kind of got me into it a little. And then I was able to kind of obviously, like you said, get a couple goals. So it was definitely a really really special night.
Describe what that night before was like. Can you describe exactly what types of nerves, butterflies you were feeling before the night of the debut?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. I think I was more nervous just coming into the bubble just because I didn't know anyone and what to expect and everything. But I think right away I got along with everyone and I was instilled with such confidence from the coaching staff and all the players that I knew I was going to be able to just play my game. But I was definitely nervous. I mean, going into that, it's a big game and you're just excited and you want it to start. So there's definitely a lot of butterflies and it was really cool to get to start that.
How big of a difference did you find that, just being able to play against some 20-year-olds in Sweden compared to what the WHL holds? Just how big of a difference was that in terms of the jump of the speed of the game, just everything that the WHL has in store?
I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. I mean, both leagues are really good, and I think getting to play there was a big help for me. Just getting used to those older guys because they got a lot of years on you and a lot of pounds and that sort of thing. So, but just being able to play against those guys was really helpful, and even practicing with dub guys and our junior guys and that sort of stuff. So all that was definitely really helpful.
For your coaches to give you the type of opportunity that you got this season as a 15-year-old, nonetheless, just how thankful are you that you were able to get that opportunity to play in a lot of big situations this year at such an early age in the dub?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my first goal, I was picking the puck up behind the net on the power play, so I don't think a lot of people get that opportunity in their first game, and it was definitely, I think, just like I said, just being instilled with confidence and knowing that I can make mistakes, and if I turn it over at the blue line, I'm not going to really get sad unless obviously I will get sad eventually, but just kind of knowing that I can just be myself out there and kind of just have fun playing hockey.
Yeah, and just from looking at the game tape that I've seen this year and that everyone's seen, in my opinion, it didn't even look like you were 15 years old. It looked like you were a seasoned vet. It's just what was that like being able to come into the WHL and being able to keep up that consistency of showing up night in and night out on a lot of nights?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't easy. I got to play with a lot of really good players, and I thought our team was pretty good, and we were able to win some games. But I think it was just a lot of fun, really, to get to play, and obviously the challenge of going against those older guys. But I think we were all just really thankful we got to play, and that was definitely a lot of fun.
Just speak about the experience of the WHL bubble, just the different experiences that you went through throughout the 15 games that you were able to play with the Pats this year before shipping out to camp for the U18s.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I found it to be a lot of fun. You're kind of just with all your teammates, playing ping pong or pool or kind of watching stuff or playing cards or that sort of thing. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think there was the odd time where you're a little bored, but I think you're really able to keep busy and definitely really enjoyed that.
The group that you had this season, just with the team welcoming you with open arms, just making you feel part of the team, of course, at the early age that you're at. Just what was that like to get that type of support from not only the teammates but just the whole organization as well?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, right away I got texts from a lot of them and that sort of thing. So it was definitely cool. I mean, our leadership group was really good from, obviously Logan, the captain, to all the 20-year-olds and kind of all the older guys that have been there, done that. So I think just them being able to show me the ropes and help me with a lot of those things was definitely really helpful for me.
Would you say that there was a certain player on the team this year that was kind of like a mentor for you, or were there a group of players?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a lot of the older guys, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Nyhoff, our captain. I think he's what you want a captain to be and what you want a leader to be, and even the way he plays on the ice, he's such a good player. And it was kind of I was the room beside him, and he kind of showed me a lot of things. And even before the first game, he kind of just took like 10-15 minutes to practice face-offs with me and stuff. So I really felt comfortable just being able to ask him things, and he definitely really helped me a lot.
Yeah, it just speaks to what a great mentor he is for sure. Just being able to take in someone like you who has all this pressure, all this expectation, and just to really keep you at ease, which is great. We're gonna get a bit more serious here. Just the day your grandpa passed away, a tragic day, passing away in that car crash, just you decide to play. You said that that was what he would have wanted. He loved seeing you play. The boys on the team were around to help you. Just they helped you more than you said they knew, and being alone was hard for you at the time. So just the day before the game, that ended up being your last game of the season with the Pats. Just what was what came down to that decision to actually play? Because even though your grandpa wanted you to play, I can't imagine how hard that actually must have been for you, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a tough day. It's still hard, obviously. That's something you don't really get over. And but I think just like I said, it's what he would have wanted, and it was going to be my last game anyway. And I thought just to be able to do it for my teammates and kind of be able to play that game, and obviously, I thought it was kind of ended up being a bit of a tribute to him. And I think I'm happy I made that decision, but it definitely wasn't easy. Even during the game, you're kind of just overthinking, and it's kind of harder to play, I'd say, for that game. But no, I mean, I was pretty happy I was able to play.
Yeah, and just for your teammates to be able to be there for you in that time, just how highly can you speak of just the care and just the support that they showed you during those tough days?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was obviously the next day, I think I kind of was just with them and just trying to make it as normal a day as possible. Playing ping pong or pool or something. But obviously, like you said before, for me, whenever I'd kind of be in my room alone, I wasn't really faring too well. So I think just being able to kind of be around the boys and kind of just have them show their support and just have be able to try to make it as normal a day as possible was something that was important to me.
Yeah, for sure. That's it's great that they were able to be there to support you for sure, especially in that tough time that you were going through. You ended up dedicating your last game of the season to your grandpa Garth, of course. Just being able to score both goals in that game in a 2-1 victory. one was an OT. You pointed up to the sky after each one. Just to be able to have that type of game days after someone that was very important to you passes away. Just how surreal was that to know that you were able to have that type of game with him? That game dedicated to him.
Yeah, it was really important to me. I mean, I really did want to score one, or obviously I was lucky enough to get the OT winner as well. But like I said, it wasn't an easy game to play, but just being able to score and obviously when that game, either way, it was going to be exciting. We were beating the best team ever, or not ever, sorry, in the division. But
Yeah.
Just that, and being able to get the OT winner and kind of end my season with that was definitely a really special night.
Did you feel like, in a way, you felt your grandpa Garth was there in spirit that night when you were able to get those 2 goals?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't think I had any legs, or obviously, like I said, you're kind of just overthinking it, and but I feel like it was just destiny that I was going to score those goals and we were going to win that game. I think they hit about 6 or 7 posts, and I was able to kind of finish on I don't know how many shots I had, so definitely think it was destiny for that to kind of happen.
Yeah, for sure. Well, destiny it was. You put up a heck of a performance in that game. One performance I think that you'll probably never forget, or you won't forget for a very long time. So we're gonna go to our next commercial break here in the show. We're gonna come back, talk about something more lighthearted. Of course, I've been joined by Connor Bedard, number 98 of the Regina Pats of the WHL on this edition of the Prospect Show. We'll be back in just a moment, but first, some more commercial breaks here on ASTV Productions.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. I've been joined by the 15-year-old phenom himself, Connor Bedard, on this edition of the show. It's been great getting to talk to him about his first season in the WHL, just the other experiences he had this season as well, being able to go to Sweden to play back in September for about 2 months, as well as just some of his interests as well, like his favorite hockey team, the Vancouver Canucks. Now we're gonna dive into, well, keep talking about just the season you had in the WHL, just being able to put up that type of consistency night in and night out. Just how much does that say about the preparation that you put in before the games to be able to be ready to go?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's games where you don't feel your best, and you're not going to be perfect every night. But I think just trying to stretch and roll out and warm up your body as best you can, and that sort of stuff I think is really important for myself. I think over the past couple of years I've kind of tried to spend a lot of time on the recovery aspect and the preparation aspect. So I think that's big. And then obviously just your teammates kind of pumping you up, or I mean, obviously I had 4 more assists and goals, so that kind of goes to show with guys putting the puck in the net and that sort of thing. So I think just a lot of that stuff is kind of what kind of helps with dips in your game.
Would you say that you're a superstitious guy at all before games, or are you the type of guy that just kind of goes with the flow?
No, I'm very superstitious.
Very superstitious. Yeah. What are some of the superstitions for you, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just almost everything I do, really. I kind of have a set routine. But, there's some things I don't really like, people touching my stick or my stick touching the ground before a game, or, kind of just a cold shower. And, if you watch, us warm up, I think I'd probably do the same thing every time. So I think I'm pretty robotic before a game, and, try to do kind of sort of the same things.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've honestly never heard that one before. Don't like anyone touching your sticks. And honestly, if it works for you, it works for you. And it worked out pretty darn well, not only in your season in the WHL, but everywhere you've pretty well went this season, just in your career as well. Just talking about that shot, absolutely incredible. Just the release, the power. How long did it take for it to get up until this point? I know that you yourself, that you can always improve it, always get better. But at this point, how much work have you put into that shot?
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I think, funny story, I kind of broke my wrist. I broke my wrist, and then I kind of, it was my right hand, so I was doing just all top hand stuff for a while, and then I think that helped. So that's kind of something I've continued with, maybe with, just a weighted stick, or kind of, I just got like a ankle weight on my stick outside, or kind of just shooting pucks with that. And, I think just repetition is the most important thing. There's really no substitute for repetition. I think just being able to practice it a lot. I got a really good setup at my house. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing with improving something, is just practicing it a lot.
What are going to be the biggest things that you want to keep improving in your shot going forward? Would you say that it's just going to be about just continuing those routines that you've been doing?
Yeah, I think, you always want to improve. Maybe, try to have more than one or two releases, have a deceptive shot, and then obviously shot power and quickness of your release. So I think trying to be able to score from, a far range is about, power and deception, and then tight end quickness and deception. So I think just kind of being able to, know which releases work for you and that sort of thing.
Speaking about that hockey IQ, because like you said, you had more assists than goals this season. Just speak about, would you say that it's been a natural thing, obviously, with the type of talent that you have, but just what would you say has improved in your hockey IQ throughout the years?
I don't know. I mean, I think, I watch a lot of hockey, and kind of have always grown up, playing mini sticks, or just playing a lot of I actually have a place I can just go to open ice, and I usually go with, like, 4 or 5 buddies, and just play 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, and that's something that's just kind of fun, and kind of just mess around, and kind of just work on things. But I think for the assists, that's definitely, like I said before, someone's got to put the puck in the net. I mean, obviously Denemy was leading goals before I left, and obviously he's just such a sniper, and obviously there's other guys that were able to score for me. So I think those both kind of play a factor.
Just talking about the mini sticks. Obviously, you're a big mini sticks guy. Has that been a huge thing that you and the boys have done, going out to different places and tournaments that you've had a chance to go out to throughout the years?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you're younger, you get noise complaints all the time, just in hotels and that sort of thing, just playing mini sticks. And when you're young, that's kind of one of the most enjoyable things you can do. So that's something, obviously, I think any kid that plays hockey a lot growing up has done a lot of.
Yeah, being a kid, being noisy, playing hockey, all the good stuff, right, Connor? Just wreaking some havoc on the guests in the hotel with the noise complaints. But yeah, just you got the shot, the hockey IQ, the skating, the speed. You got the hands. You got a lot of great tools in your toolbox. But just for you, I know you probably alluded to them earlier in the show, but what are going to be the things that you expect to continue to develop and get better as years go along? Is there a certain thing that you're going to be focusing on, or is it just the overall game and just continuing to improve just the overall package?
Yeah, you can definitely improve everything. You try to work on everything. Your hands, your shot, your skating, your quickness, and everything. But I think every level you go, it gets quicker, and speed's such a big aspect. So I think that's something, you're in the gym and skating lessons and, whenever you're on the ice, that's something you can really focus on. And then, kind of, I find the other things I can kind of do on my own with the shooting and the stick handling and that sort of stuff. So, it's really everything you got to focus on, I think.
When it's all said and done with your time with the Regina Pats, what are going to be the things that you personally want to be looking to accomplish with this club in the WHL?
I mean, I think if you asked anyone that, it would be to win a Memorial Cup. That's kind of the main goal every year going into the season. So I think that's really no different for myself.
Let's move on now to your time with the West Vancouver Academy Prep U15 team, as well as the Prep U18 team, starting back in 2018-19 when you were on the Bantam Prep U15 team. You put up 64 goals, 24 assists, 88 points in 30 games played, finished in second place as a team in the regular season. Team was great offensively and defensively. Just take me back to those years, that first year of playing with the academy and what that game was like going up against all of that top talent, or not top talent, but all of the great talent that you got to play against in the CSSHL.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, both years, you're in school with everyone and you're kind of always hanging out with them and you really get to know them. And, I got some of my best friends kind of still to this day from those teams. And, I think that's really, really a really cool idea of the academies and going to school every day and that sort of stuff. And then obviously both years, it was a really good league. I think, our Bantam year was a really deep league. I think we lost probably the 12th and 13th place team in the league, and we were second. So I think you kind of had to go into every game, ready to, battle and try to win or lose, obviously. So I think it was really good competition, and I was really happy I did make my way to West Van. It was awesome.
Yeah, and that first season, of course, you guys ended up losing in the semifinals. You put up 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points in 4 games, or 7 points in 4 games in those playoffs. Just being able to have such a great season and not quite get over the hump, just like you said, it speaks to how deep the league is. But just take me back to what it was like trying to go on that run and trying to get to that championship game.
Yeah. I remember, going into the playoffs, we were pretty hot, I think. So, we ended up going 3-0 in the round robin, and we played Yale in the semis, who every time we played them, we actually won, but every single one went into overtime, except one. We won by 1 goal. So, we were really evenly matched, and going to that game is exciting, and obviously a really good game. 3-3. It was 3-1 them, and then we ended up tying it late, and then going into overtime, and then going into shootout where I actually missed. So still can't really get over that miss, but it was definitely tough loss, and it was that was probably the tightest knit group of teammates I think I've ever been a part of. So it was obviously we obviously wanted to win.
Yeah, and just being able to have that tight bond, would you say that having a close dressing room, having good relationships with just about everyone in the room is maybe one of the biggest keys that kind of gets overlooked sometimes in sports and in hockey in specifically?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think going into the year, people were kind of expecting us to be a middle of the pack team, kind of 6, 7, or 8, and then we ended up being second, and I think probably the biggest reason for that was just how close we were as a group, and it's one of the most fun teams I've ever been on, and that was just such a great year, and being able to experience being on a really tight team is something that's really special.
Just talking about you being able to make that jump the next season and what would have been your second year in the Prep U15 league, playing in the Prep U18 league. You come in, play 36 games, 43 goals, 41 assists for 84 points. Just being able to make the jump back then and to put up the amount of points that you did, just take me back to that experience of just being able to go out there and play against competition that was older than you at that age?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I kind of have to do the same, not the same level of stuff, but kind of just apply and be able to get the opportunity to play in the U18 league. So I was pretty thankful for that. And then obviously, kind of the same. We had a really close group, and we were probably one of the most hardworking teams, and I think that was just a lot of fun. And I think going into the playoffs, I think we won like seven of 8 of our last games, and we were really excited to be able to try to win. And obviously that couldn't happen due to COVID and everything. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun, and I was pretty thankful to get to play with the older guys.
Yeah, and you guys, even though you finished 7th, like you said, this was a team that was kind of finding their stride at the right time. Do you feel like if there was able to be playoffs, that this team could have very well gone all the way that year? I know there's going to be some bias in that answer, but just looking at the roster as a whole, just the group that you guys had, how close you guys were, do you feel like that could have been the year it could have happened for you at West Van Academy?
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna say yes, but I
Yeah.
guess you never know. But we were so hot going into it and playing definitely our best hockey, and we played one game and we were able to beat Rink 5-4 or 5-1, I think. So that obviously gave us a lot of confidence. That was a great team, and I think we were just really playing really well, and obviously that league too was super deep, and anyone could win on any night. But I like to say we would have had a chance.
What would you say were probably the biggest parts of your game that were able to develop in that season of just being able to go up against older competition, just for you getting to really show your skills? What did you feel really stood out the most to you that year?
Yeah, that was the first year I think I played with guys up to 3 years older than me. So I remember my first game, I took like a suey pass and just got murdered pretty good. So then you kind of realize, oh, these guys are pretty big, and they can probably skate faster than me, or hit me, and maybe I'm not expecting it, but it'll hurt. So I think just kind of learning that, and knowing where to go, and what battles you should go in, and kind of the situations that are not so smart to go in. So I think just being able to learn how to kind of play with those older guys.
With the type of recognition that a league like the CSSHL gets, with just the scouts that come out to watch games and stuff, just experiencing that for the first time, did you feel like you blocked out? Did you feel like there was any pressure, or did you feel like that was kind of like you just went out there and played your game when scouts would be there?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you kind of are in that league, and obviously it is a high profile league, but I don't think it's as compared to the recognition you would get in the dub, or kind of junior
Yeah.
leagues. It's a lot different. So I think it was obviously you see scouts at games, and but you can't even really tell if it's parents or scouts. So I think you're not really looking too much. But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's always someone watching, so you got to try to play your best every night.
Yeah, and I mean, you went out there and definitely proved that the hype was for real for you just coming into the WHL draft. You ended up winning U18 Prep Division MVP that season. You won the MVP the season before, but I know for you, I know for players like you guys don't really care about those individual achievements, right? But I feel like maybe that MVP award for you might have been a bit more special than maybe some of the other awards that you won, just because of the age you were at and just the type of success you were able to have against guys being 3 years older than you, playing against guys like that for the first time ever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, going into the year, a lot of I don't want to say a lot of people, but they were definitely I definitely heard about me not being able to play at that level, and kind of those sort of things. But I think that was obviously like you said, it's an individual award and it's a team sport, so that's kind of not what you're striving for. But obviously, when you do get those honors, it is very exciting, and obviously I was pretty excited when I got that, and it was definitely a pretty cool moment.
Just that that whole thing of just going back to the spotlight, like you said, there's going to be a lot of internet critics. There's going to be critics out there in general. Just when a player like you comes around every so often and is able to play in the places like you have at this young age, like all the criticism that you've gotten, would you say that you're the type of person that uses that as fuel and kind of plays with a chip on his shoulder, or are you a guy that kind of just blocks out the noise?
I'd say a little bit of both. I mean, if someone says something I don't agree with or something like that, I'll try to prove them wrong. But I mean, you can't really be looking into all those because then you're just getting yourself into unnecessary battles and that sort of stuff. But I think you can definitely use that as a good tool to kind of motivate yourself. But I don't really look at stuff on myself too much. But you can definitely take it in both those ways.
Just with your time spent in West Vancouver Academy, just in terms of the schooling side of things, just going to school there, how did that really help prepare you for life? Just as an individual, just going through a routine like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was kind of the last 2 years of minor hockey, and obviously it kind of would have been similar in the dub this year. Obviously, we didn't know, so that was the last 2 years of kind of normalness, and I mean, it was so much fun. I mean, obviously, you wake up and you got to go to school, and you kind of don't want to, but when you got 3 or 4 of your teammates in your class, and you kind of just have fun, and that sort of thing. It's really exciting to go, and I think that's a cool thing about Academy is just being able to get to enjoy something that maybe if you don't have your friends and you're kind of bored or something like that, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Number 98 of the Regina Pats, Connor Bedard, joins us on the show in this week's episode. And yeah, we've been talking about everything basically just to do with Connor's past 2 years in hockey with the Western Vancouver Academy. We also talked about his year, of course, with the Regina Pats this season. And now we're going to we also talked about some other stuff too, like his time in Sweden, and we're gonna move into the most recent accomplishment that you got, winning gold at the U18 Worlds, the IIHF World Hockey Championships for the U18s with Team Canada. Just being able to win gold, we'll get into that feeling in just a bit. But just what was that like, being able to get selected and just finding out that you got selected to play on this U18 team?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even really know it was a thing until a couple days before, so it was definitely a big surprise. And obviously, growing up, watching World Juniors, watching U18, and all that sort of stuff, you kind of always dream of getting to play for your country and wear the maple leaf and everything. So it was definitely a huge honor and a really fun time.
Just what was that like, getting to go up against some of the world's best at that U18 age group in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously hard, and it was every night you're gonna play the best players in the world, and that sort of thing. So it was pretty cool, obviously, and I think being able to get that opportunity is something that I was really thankful for.
Yeah, and like we spoke about it, like you got a chance to play with Shane Wright. You and him lit it up in this tournament. You also got to play with a guy like Dylan Gunther, some other great talent too. Just what was that like, being surrounded by all this great talent that Canada has to offer at the U18 level, like the best of the best?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. You go and practice, and these are all players that are draft pick are going to be draft picks. Sorry, and everything. So I think the first day I was, we got our roommates and everything, and I was with McTavish, and then I kind of searched him up, and he was like projected top 10 pick. So that was definitely something that that kind of hits you, that these guys are unreal players. So it was definitely really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Just being able to experience that. Just how would you say that being able to play with this top end talent as well as going up against the top end talent in the world really helped develop your game even further at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, playing against them and playing against all those great players, and my line for them for the most part was McTavish and Stankoven, and funny enough, Stankoven's someone I've actually really looked up to, as he's also in BC, and I've been able to watch him a lot. So, like I said, McTavish just had an unreal tournament, and those are both such great players, and obviously even in practice, like Shane Gunther, you can go through the list, but it's just a lot of fun, and it's obviously very very good challenge.
Getting that opportunity to go to Frisco, Texas, in the United States to play hockey for a tournament with this team, just what was that whole experience like of just going through the whole process of going to the bubble again and just playing hockey in the States like that?
Yeah, it was definitely obviously I was able to get the experience in Regina, and kind of that bubble lifestyle, so that was pretty used to that. But obviously going to the States, and we didn't really travel around much, but I mean it's obviously a different place, and I think that was pretty cool. Never been there, so it's kind of good to say that now I can say I've been there.
How would you say that those experiences in the bubble from the WHL really helped you adjust quickly to the bubble in the Worlds?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't really feel like I was new to it, and
Yeah.
unexperienced. So I was able to kind of just go in there and have the same routines and that sort of thing. So it definitely helped me a lot.
Going into camp, just what was that like? First skate with this team wearing a Team Canada practice jersey or whatever jersey you're wearing. Just knowing that you were in a camp that was fueling up to get ready to go out and try to win a world championship.
Yeah, it was one of the cooler things I've been a part of. And obviously you see how good those guys are. I was obviously nervous going on. I think I remember the second practice. I think probably the worst practice of my life. So it was that kind of hits you, and how focused you got to be for everything, and just how good these guys are. But it was definitely a lot of fun.
What was it like getting to know the coaching staff that you guys had down there? Just the way that they were able to treat not only you but the team in general.
Yeah, they were awesome. I mean, obviously, Barr, Stothers, and Dwyer were all unreal coaches, and we're all so great in their roles. And obviously, I think going into those Canadian teams, you have all 13 forwards and all 8D and three goalies. The goalies are starters, and then forwards and D are power play and first line players. So you gotta be able to adjust to those roles, and having a coach and stuff like that really helped us just be able to play our role.
Let's talk about the tournament now, the journey to winning the gold. You guys come out against Sweden, who's been considered one of the hockey powers in the world internationally, alongside Canada, USA, and Russia, of course, Finland, making their way into that. I feel like now with what they've been able to do in international tournaments. But you guys go out game one of the tournament to open it up with a 12-1 dominating win over Sweden. Just what was that like again to get off to that type of start in a tournament like this where where every game pretty much matters?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, well, we had exhibition Finland, and then we played Sweden. So those are two top countries, and I don't think anyone on our team was expecting a 12-1 win, but I'd say things were just going our way, and they weren't going the Sweden's way. But I think that's just a big confidence boost. I mean, being able to beat like you said, a top country like that was definitely huge for confidence, and I think helped us going forward.
Yeah, and then you met up against them in the semifinals to get to the final, just with Sweden like rebounding after that loss to you guys, opening it up just to. I feel like they were coming in hungry, probably, right? To be able to go out and do you guys' thing again, to really make a statement, really, that you weren't going to let them beat you guys. Just what was that like, being able to have that much success against them so later down the line down in the tournament?
Yeah, I think it was an 8-1 game, but it definitely wasn't. The scoreboard didn't really tell the whole story. I think going into the third, it was 2-1, and they were playing really well. So I think everyone was kind of not, I wouldn't say nervous going into the third, but knew it wasn't going to be an easy third. And then we were kind of able to open the floodgates in that third, and kind of take a commanding win. But it was definitely a tougher game than what the score made it seem to be.
With all this talent on this team, of course, you guys were stacked with guys like you, Shane Wright, Dylan Gunther, like you said, McTavish, the other guys you got a chance to play with. Just what would you say was probably the identity of this Team Canada team this year in the U18s?
I think just we wanted to be the hardest working team and play our systems the best. I think I obviously I'm not going to go over systems, but kind of just stuff like filling lanes and that sort of stuff. We wanted to be the best country in that. So I mean, I think playing your role and kind of just following the systems and just being a tough and annoying team to play against was three kind of big things.
Yeah, and I feel like that hard work, determination really came out in that third period against Sweden in that semifinals game. Like you said, it was 2-1 at one point, and then you guys ended up opening it up. Did you feel like a close game like that was needed for you guys before a big gold medal game to know that you got to keep fighting, you can't take any shifts off, even though like you knew you couldn't? But would you say like that was a huge kind of moment for you guys realizing that it's not going to be easy, we got to fight for everything?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a couple closer games before, but I don't think we were ever kind of tested as much until that game. I'd say, obviously 2-1 going into the third. That's not definitely not a guaranteed win. So I think just being able to be in the dressing room and know what it's like to be in that game where that there's a chance you could lose and that sort of thing. But I think it was definitely helpful for the finals.
Moving into that gold medal game, you guys go up against Team Russia. What a battle. You guys ended up going down for the first time in the tournament after a goal by the MVP of the tournament, Matvey Michkov. Opened up the scoring for Russia. But then you come in and you come in with an unbelievable backhand snipe from the hash marks to tie it up. I saw the highlights. Everyone saw the video of you scoring that goal, watching it live or watching on highlights. You were absolutely fired up. Just how huge was that goal at that point after being down for the first time in the tournament? Just of how much importance that goal really meant for that team, for this team at that point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, like you said, Michkov getting that goal, and I feel like I was on the ice, and I feel like I probably could have got to the puck better in kind of the tracking situation. So I was a little upset about myself there, and then obviously I missed that penalty shot, so I kind of knew that I needed to get one, and then obviously next shift I kind of was able to kind of make a move, and then maybe 9 times out of 10 I tried to go to the net there, but I just kind of fired it, and lucky enough I went in.
Would you say that just we talked about the mental game earlier, but that just speaks of how strong your mental game is for yourself? Just missing a penalty shot like that in a big moment, which could be kind of devastating to one's mental state in the game, but for you to come back like that, just how did that speak of what type of player you've become over the past year of just being able to rebound and kind of put that like missing the penalty shot out of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something you work on, and obviously I get just as frustrated as anyone, and I wasn't happy after that, and I think that's a good thing if you're mad at yourself, and then you're able to you just got to be able to wash it or kind of wipe it off, and be able to just move on and kind of get ready for your next shift.
Yeah, and like this team was down, like you guys were down two separate times in the first, but tied it twice. Second time with a goal from Shane, right? And then on the scoreboard, just looking at the score, you guys kind of took control in that second period. What was that like, just being able to come out after a hard fought period to kind of get some separation in that game between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously those were two huge goals, and I think if you could if you just watch our bench, how pumped up we were, and those were really important goals, and obviously they ended up getting the 4-3-1 kind of middle third. So obviously it wasn't a blowout. It was a very tight game, and I think that was definitely a really exciting one.
That feeling of just seeing the clock hit zero, knowing you guys. Well, we'll go back actually before the clock said zero, or before the clock hit zeros, and just speaking about that empty netter by Shane to seal it for you guys. Of course, you pass it to him. Absolutely electric feeling from you guys on the ice, just watching it. Just at that point, how surreal was that, knowing that the world championship was going to be yours?
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. I mean, even just me and Shane being able to connect on that last goal is something that I think is pretty cool. And I think growing up, like I said, you just always want to be able to put a gold medal around your neck in a Canadian jersey, and that feeling was unbelievable, and that was definitely one of the coolest moments of my life.
What was that like, getting to celebrate with the boys after? Just knowing that you guys could finally let loose, knowing that the job was done, just getting to celebrate like that for maybe probably the first time in your life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously it's different. You're still in your hotel and kind of locked in there, but I think everyone's in the same room, and just talking and playing cards and stuff, and kind of just having fun. I think it was also such a tight group, and everyone really got along, and so that was definitely a really cool moment.
What exactly was that feeling like of just seeing the gold medal go around your neck, knowing that you were part of World Championship squad in that way, just having a gold medal around the neck?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really explain it. Really, it's such a cool feeling, and if you just watch us as the celebration was going, it was everyone's just all smiles. It doesn't really matter, how many points you had or that sort of thing. It's just about being able to win, and obviously seeing the gold medal, and it's pretty surreal. So it's definitely one of the coolest things.
Could you speak about just the amounts of support you guys were getting leading up to that gold medal game on social media? Or I guess a better question would be just the types of support flooding in after you guys won the gold medal from social media and just from family members and friends.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I think everyone's phone's blowing up, and that sort of thing. You get all your buddies texting you, and then your family and all your friends and stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. And then you see these kind of like videos of the team and that sort of thing. So it was definitely a pretty crazy experience checking your phone after.
Yeah, for sure. For you to come into this team as a 15-year-old, I feel like not many 15-year-olds have an opportunity to come in and be able to represent their country at the U18s. Just what was that like for you, coming into camp and just getting along with the guys on the team, just in general, just fitting in and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, going in, I didn't know anyone, so that's kind of something you got to adjust to. And like I said, I was rooming with Mace, and he's probably one of the most outgoing guys ever. So he kind of really helped me get comfortable with everyone. And I think like I said, it was such a tight group though, and everyone really got along well.
Yeah, for sure. And that really spoke volumes of how you guys were able to bring it together and win, because you can't win if no one comes together, right? If not everyone comes together, it's hard to win. It's hard to win at any level, especially that level. And it's great that you guys were able to win the championship and be named world champions at the U18s. But last question I got to ask you is just there's been not only a lot of buzz around you, of course, but Michikov as well. Michikov, just how excited are you to be able to maybe build a rivalry with him throughout the years in international events, and just later down the line when you guys end up both making to the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, it'll be projected out as a rivalry, and with us so far, kind of being put against each other and compared. But obviously, he's such a special player. I mean, obviously, he had a big game. I think every game he had 12 goals and 7 games, and I think he's going to be really special and a great player for a long time. So hearing myself kind of being compared to him is pretty cool for me. And I think we got a couple cool photos with each other there at the end, and I think that's something that would be pretty cool if we were able to kind of build that rivalry, as you said. But yeah, it would definitely be pretty cool.